If you want to learn how to neutralize somebody's power, then this is the video to watch. In this video, I'm going to show you a shot you can hit to neutralize someone's powerful forehand or backhand. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can neutralize somebody's powerful forehand or backhand. Now, a lot of times I'm talking about how to be aggressive, how to go after your player, how you can have the powerful forehand, but guess what? There are going to be some times when you may have to play some defense, okay? And there are going to be some times where somebody just has a much bigger shot than you have. So what do? Well, you got to neutralize their shot. What do I mean by neutralize? I mean hitting the ball in a way that makes it more difficult for them to try to hit this powerful shot. So why is this important? Well, obviously, if they're hitting the ball bigger than you and they're pushing you around, then they're going to put you in a worse position more often, and we don't want that. We need a way to beat players that might have a bigger stroke than we do. The easiest way to neutralize somebody's big shot is to keep the ball out of their strike zone, or pretty much try to make it more difficult for them to hit the ball in their strike zone. So what do I mean? The easiest way I can do this is by lifting up the ball with heavy topspin. Instead of driving through the ball and allowing my opponent to really wind up and hit the ball in their strike zone, which usually is about shoulder high to a little bit below or above the knee, I would say a little bit higher, right below the waist actually, you want to make sure you make it difficult for your opponent to get that shot. And usually it drives a person crazy, especially if they like hitting the ball hard. So how do we do this? We're going to get under the ball and accelerate, hitting the ball heavy with more spin and more height. That's the key. We want the spin and the height. By using the height, what's going to happen is the ball's going to bounce and quickly bounce up again, making it more difficult for your opponent to hit the ball in their strike zone. So if you've ever experienced being out with a player that is putting a lot of pressure on you, or you're having to hit that forehand on the run and they're putting you in a bad situation, this is the time to use it, because you're going to go over there and hit the ball up higher. Now, what this is not a lob, although you can use a lob to neutralize somebody's shot. But it's not a lob. It's like a normal ground stroke, but we're going to lift the ball higher to make sure that the ball bounces high enough that it's not in their strike zone. The other thing, by lifting the ball, it's going to cause either one or two things, depending on how good your opponent is. It's going to cause them to really step up and try to take the ball early, meaning they're going to take the ball when it's coming bouncing in high, and they're going to try to take it before it bounces up high. Well, they can do that. That might be a possibility. But what you're doing is you're making them hit a more difficult shot, which means there's a greater chance of them making a mistake, them not placing it well, or maybe them hitting a short ball. The other thing that you're going to find, I think a lot more players, what they're going to do, especially if you hit the ball really good, is they're going to actually back up, okay, to try to handle it. So they're going to let the ball bounce, and then they're going to let the ball's going to go up and then come down. So they're going to back up to catch the ball back on the way down. Now this does two things. A, means they're not taking it on the rise. You've neutralized at least their ability to hit the ball hard from a closer position. B, you've now moved them back, or you made them give up real estate. I like saying this phrase, giving up real estate. They have to move away from the baseline. So even if they do hit the ball hard from there, guess what? You actually have more time to deal with that ball, which means the ball doesn't feel as hard and you're going to have more time anyway. So the other thing is, by giving up more real estate, if they make a mistake by trying to hit the ball hard but it lands short, they actually put themselves in a worse position, because by scooting back, they now have to cover more court. So I hope you understand how this shot can be so useful. So what I'm going to go now is I'm going to show you a couple of demos of exactly how we want to hit this shot and the keys to hitting this shot. So let's talk about some of the keys to hitting this shot. The first key is making sure that when you get to the ball, you're balanced. We don't want to be falling over, because the moment we start falling over, we're going to probably hit a short ball, because we can't control the racket face angle. Now, I've talked about two really important things in previous videos, which are the racket face angle and the path of the racket. Those control where the ball is going to go, okay? So what's really important here is, A, that the racket path is getting under the ball, and you're going to see a much more drastic arc or path that I'm going to take here. It's not going to be a straight, because remember what we want to do. We want to get the ball to go up and get out of our opponent's strike zone, so when it comes down, it bounces up high. The other thing is making sure that the racket face angle, you don't want to open up too much, because if we open it up, and obviously you're not going to open up this much, but I'm exaggerating just so you know, we want to make sure we generate a lot of spin. So this is going to mean probably a little bit more of a closed racket face. We don't want that to accidentally open up, because what's going to happen is the ball's going to fly on you. It's going to go long. We want to generate a lot of spin. Now, a couple little notes if you're having trouble and we want to think about how deep we need to hit this. The beauty of this shot is that you can get away with hitting it, I don't want to say short, but not like a foot within the baseline. you can hit the shot between the service line and the baseline and it could be great. And if you're having trouble doing that, just lift it up a little bit more. Again, this shot's not a lob. You can use a lob, but it's not really a lob. So I'm going to give you a couple demos and talk about exactly what we're trying to do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a normal ball so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to hit you the neutralizing ball that we've been talking about. Now there's two scenarios, maybe more, that you might be dealing with. I'm only going to talk about one. The first scenario is when you're on the run and you have to hit this shot. Well, just apply all the same on the run footwork to this forehand. The key is making sure we get the height and spin on the ball. So basically the other scenario, if your opponent's just pounding you, they're trying to basically knock you down with their forehand. So the key here is making sure we get under, like we talked about, and making sure the path of the racket is going to create more shape on the ball. So here's the normal ball. That's a normal forehand. This is a normal forehand. Now watch when I start adding more shape to the ball. It's not a topspin lob, but it's a great neutralizing ball. You know, they might hit that, boom. Again, that's not a topspin lob. That's not going to go over anybody's head. But what it does, what that ball does is make it much harder for your opponent to come up and knock the crap out of the ball. Okay, it's going to really make them think about what they're going to have to do. Am I going to have to move inside the court and take it on the rise? More difficult. Or am I going to back up? Now, again, the beauty of this is that all you're going to do is change up the shape of the ball and add more spin. So I hope you understand exactly what you need to do to start neutralizing your opponent's forehand. Again, or whatever the shot they're going to hit. Again, quick little review is to make sure that we're going to lift the ball up. It's not a lob. We're trying to make sure we keep the ball out of their strike zone. The more we can keep it out of their strike zone, the less chance of them hitting a very aggressive shot. Go out, use the shot, and let me know how it works. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at TotalTennisDomination.com